Next up in the Essential Film Noir Volume 4 set is number 213 in that set, which is Beware My Lovely, which stars Ida Lupino and Robert Ryan. This is a really kind of oddball one. Feels very much like an adaptation of a stage play of sorts, as we follow our character Howard, a man who discovers a dead body at the start of this one and flees. He's on the run looking for odd jobs. And then we meet Helen, a woman that is a widow, lives in a house, rents out a couple of rooms. Her people that live with her are moving out for a couple of weeks, going away. She's just doing a lot of cleaning. She's hired a handyman, which happens to be Howard, and he comes over and they kind of have a little spark and they start working cleaning this house.
I haven't any friends.
Just because you work for me is no reason why we can't be friends.
Yes, it is.
But Howard has problems, and as he starts to fracture mentally, the situation becomes almost unbearable for Helen, as we don't know what this man can do. There is a great performance from Robert Ryan, who can be a little bit ham-fisted at times throughout the film as he starts to fracture psychologically. It can be ham-fisted, but we've got Helen, played by Ida Lupino, who is just fantastic in this one. There's a woman who finds herself trapped in this house with this man who seems to have multiple personalities going on. He can be ruthless and in her face and threatening, and in the next moment he's courteous, he's apologetic. He can't remember what happened and what's going on.
Now you want me to stop in the middle of this?
I think you've said enough. You better leave. I'll pay you for the time you've put in. How dare you?
You're not going to make me feel weak the way they did.
And we get to see these different facets of these characters coming out throughout the film. It is primarily these two characters in the house as the tension and the anxiety and the worry for our character Helen start to build up as Howard becomes more irrational throughout it. Every now and again there are other characters that drop by just to keep things fresh, to add a little bit more tension to it. There's a group of kids that come in at some point. Helen's locked in the basement and you feel a little bit of fear for these kids. You're hoping that Howard won't do anything, but you just don't know what this character is capable of.
Be quiet if you don't want those kids to get hurt.
You get a kind of sense of geography of the house. You kind of know the layout and where the rooms are, and you have a good idea of where everything is and how it doesn't feel as large an open space. And with the doors kind of locked and some of the windows barred, Helen is trapped within her own property with no ways of escape. She's trying to converse with Howard, trying to cajole and twist and change his ideas around and try and get him towards letting her free from this property. But everything keeps seemingly to trigger Howard no matter what he does. He finds a picture of her husband in an army uniform. That gives him flashbacks to a time that he was told he was no good, he wasn't any use to anybody, and how that kind of flares up his other personality. The idea of someone that is so mentally disturbed that they're unable to have a solid grasp.
I think I'll change things around. Sometimes at night I can't sleep and I like to look out.
It's just a kind of great idea, especially when it's within the house of Helen, how she's locked in there. Now, as I said, Robert Ryan can feel a little bit ham-fisted at times. Sometimes it's a good performance, other times it can be a little bit over the top, unnecessary. But you've got Ida Lupino, who I think is absolutely wonderful in the film, and even though her mounting tension and terror, she creates a woman who tries to push it aside and pretend to be welcoming and loving at certain points, but you're always worried for this character, and it's the driving force of the movie, the worry nature for her. Now, I didn't enjoy this as much as the rest of the movies in the set, primarily because of that one location, because I wasn't sure where the film was going, and a little bit of Robert Ryan's performance. But ultimately at the end of it, I really enjoyed where it went and how it finished. The kind of uncertainty of some of the things was pretty terrific. So let's dive in, have a look at the disc and see what's got extras this one has on offer. Here we are in the disc for Beware My Lovely. Let's go to special features. You'll see we've got an audio commentary by film historian Jason Ney, and we have author film historian Pamela Hutchinson on Ida Lupino, which is fantastic. It's 25 minutes 4 seconds, talking about her director output, how she came from a family of performers and how it was just, you know, inevitable she was going to end up as a performer in one way or another, talking about outrage specifically amongst other films, but they spend a little bit of time on that. It's a great extra and worth the price of admission alone. So there we have it. Beware My Lovely is part of the 2 films on 1 disc set. Next we'll talk about Jennifer and have a little look at that one. I would love to know your thoughts on Beware My Lovely, whether you loved it, hated it, fell somewhere in the middle. Let me know in the comment box below your thoughts on this one. There's more content up here, and in the description box below are links to the Patreon membership program, manvfilm.com, all ways in which you can support me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.